Ross Bolen Podcast.
You better listen.
Gang, gang, gang. Brought to you by Bolen Media. RBP, 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 Ross Bolen.
Pretty long. Beautiful song.
All right.
We're live.
Welcome to episode 235 of the Ross Bolen Podcast, otherwise known as RBP 235, presented by Bolen Media. I am your host, Ross Bolen, here today with producer Mike Moody.
Ross Bolen, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're serving as our co-host as well on RBP 235, Mike.
Co-host running the cams. I'm going to be extremely distracted, so don't expect good content over here.
Okay, I'll try not
That's
to
all
rely
right.
too much on you.
Yeah.
But Mike, the energy is good today from you. I feel
Is
it.
Are you sure? I was going to ask you something before we get started. I'm happy to be here, but this weekend, you asked me about my weekend,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's been all caffeine this morning since I woke up.
Okay, I can tell.
You can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. I can't.
You're zoned in.
I'm zoned in, but how do you manage burnout with everything that you do? Because my fire is going out. and
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So I have to take like at least one day a week where I do absolutely nothing every week.
Yeah.
And I know that's not something that most people can get away with. My circumstances dictate that I get to make my own schedule. So you've probably noticed that like once a week, I'll text you and I'm like, hey, Mike, remember all that stuff we had scheduled for today? Nope.
Right.
And you're like, all right, I guess I'll rearrange my entire day. And I'm like, thank you, and I will do nothing. No, man, that's literally the only way I've found so far, though, is like, burnout's tough. We all get it, right? It's no matter what your job is or no matter how hectic your life is, it builds up, and you have to find these ways to alleviate that sort of pressure that builds. And I feel you. I mean, it's the thing I'm still learning too. You know, whatever, 6 months, however many months into
Right.
self-employment that we are.
So when's your next recording? Tonight?
Tonight,
So basically,
7.
I'll just text you. I'm not available tonight.
Yeah.
I'm doing my burnout 24 hours.
Yes.
I'll be at home. I'll see you in 24 hours.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's sort of how it works.
Just blow your ass off.
And then you just hope that nobody gets upset with you.
Yeah, I can.
Sometimes they do.
I can do that.
Okay.
Sometimes they do.
So that's my strategy.
All right.
There's probably a healthier answer to that question that someone else has.
Yeah.
But that's the only answer I
No,
have.
I was doing okay into healthy stuff for a while.
Oh, yeah?
I was going to the gym. I was eating right, but just this past week,
fell
everything
off?
just piled on. However, I did take some time for myself. I saw a movie.
Oh,
Have you heard Parasite?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, what'd you think?
God, the director it's a South Korean film.
Parasite.
Bong Joon-ho.
The director's first name is Bong?
I think it's his last name, but you know how we flip,
No, I don't know.
Okay. With,
Do we?
With Asian names.
First is before last? Vice versa?
Last is before first over there, I think. I don't know.
Bong Joon-ho is a badass name.
That's a pretty badass name. They renamed the Alamo Drafthouse on South Lamar after him during Fantastic Fest this year. It's still called the Alamo Drafthouse, but it's home of Bong Joon-ho.
What?
Yeah.
Man, that's my theater.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
movie theater. Like, I don't even know this. I've never even seen Bong Joon-ho there.
I had to go see this movie because it's only playing in draft houses
Right.
and some art houses, and it's getting Oscar buzz. And I really wanted to see it. So I went to this little art house theater up north, the Arbor.
Okay.
And it was packed. The Arbor's never packed. And it was a great movie. I got to recommend it.
Is it a horror film?
There are elements of horror in it.
Thrillery?
It's a thriller, but it's also a crowd-pleasing comedy, drama, horror, thriller, fun, psychologically fucked movie.
What language is it in?
Korean.
Korean.
Yeah.
Korea. It's South Korean.
Yeah.
Got it.
Kim Jong-un did not finance this
The North
movie.
Koreans don't focus on artsy art house flicks. That's not their thing.
No, I don't think so. I know that they like to kidnap Americans and force them to be in propaganda movies in North Korea, but that's
Oh.
not what this was.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to see one of those too,
Yeah.
just to see.
But if you're in a theater or in a town that's showing this movie, definitely see it before Oscar season because it might even get nominated for Best Picture. He's definitely going to be nominated for Best Director. This is a hell of a movie.
So I watched you know how I'm a big Apple trailer, for those of you who don't know this about me. I'm a big Apple trailers guy. I focus on the trailer section every night when I'm on my Apple TV going to watch whatever it is I'm watching. I always find myself stopping through the trailers section to watch the newest and latest trailers. And when I watched Parasite, the trailer, when it probably came out a couple months ago, I was very intrigued. I was like, ooh, this is one of those ones I want to see. But you never can tell, especially with like Japanese, Chinese, Korean horror films, thrillers, just how dark and deep you're going to go based on the trailer. You have no idea. Because I've watched a couple of like Asian horror films that went to a place I wasn't prepared to go.
It's more of a psychologically dark.
Yes, it's a different
and
kind.
a social critique kind of dark.
We focus more on gore and violence, whereas they find other ways to fuck with you.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I walked out of there and I was like,
Not okay.
I can't go to lunch right now.
Right. Okay, well, good. We got a movie recommendation at the top. How do you like that? If you're new to our show, the Ross Bolen Podcast, almost every episode is broken down into segments, which you can find with time cues below in the description. Some episodes are going to feature special guests or special topics that maybe will make those particular sods less segmented. But for the most part, the idea is that we want our podcast to be segmented in a way that makes it easy for you to consume as you need to, based on your schedule, based upon work or play or school or whatever you've got going on. Maybe you're a parent. I don't know. Everybody has a different deal these days, and the show is segmented for that purpose so that you can easily consume it at your pace. You don't have to have listened to a single one of the preceding, 234 episodes of RBP to understand and enjoy RBP 235. But if you like today's show, go back, listen, get caught up. We've got that whole backlog there for you. When you've got the time to soak it in, so do it. Follow us on Instagram at the Ross Bolen Podcast, where every day we fill up our story with photos and videos sent in by you, our listenership, the RBP gang. We are also on Twitter at Ross Bolen Pod, and you can find us on Facebook if you're the middle-aged aunt of one of our listeners. We're on twitch.com/BossRollin, where we are live right now, actually. You can watch our show live. Not every episode yet, but the idea is in 2020. By 2020, we want to be doing every single episode live on twitch.com/BossRollin, BossRolen. And then as soon as the live show ends, that video will be gone and only available on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast, which is exciting. Adding video has been an exciting element. Shouts to producer Mike and the guys at Permanent Record and all the hard work they've done to get us situated with that. RBP 235 is brought to you by Leesa. Your mattress is the most important purchase you're going to make for your home, right in front of your living room TV, I would argue. Leesa makes the best mattresses in the entire world. They know how important rest is to a better life. Leesa is the foundation of a healthier, happier you. And to Leesa, a bed is more than just a place to sleep. It's a place for relaxation and rest. All of their products were designed to go beyond creating a comfortable bed, to transform your bedroom into a sanctuary that you actually want to spend time in. Their most advanced luxury hybrid mattress is made with premium foams and springs for enhanced pressure relief with edge-to-edge support. The hybrid, thoughtfully designed with the best of both worlds, is actually the one that I have. I've had it for over 3 years now. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. Could not speak more highly to the hybrid from Leesa. If you need a bed recommendation, which many people do, this is the one I give every single time for years. Leesa, the hybrid, it's the best, and they believe all people should have access to deep rest and relaxation, and as such, they make it easy for their customers to know they've made the right choice through their social impact initiatives tied to each purchase. For instance, they donate 1 mattress for every 10 they sell through organizations that work in causes like foster care prevention. To date, that has totaled up to over 33,000 mattresses through more than 1,000 nonprofits that Leesa has donated. That's crazy. Leesa mattresses are made in the USA. In-home delivery and setup is available. Financing is also available. Don't miss out, RBP gang. Live healthier, live happier by resting deeper. Order today and get 15% off any mattress for a limited time at leesa.com/RBP. Use the promo code RBP. That's LEESA.com/RBP. Promo code RBP. Keep in mind, you also get a 100-night risk-free trial plus free shipping and returns. I really only have one announcement, and that's, again, that if you want more of this show, if you want more of me, if you want more of the Ross Bolen Podcast and RBP, there's only one place to get it. We do our 2 regularly scheduled ad-based episodes a week that you find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, you're listening to right now. And then we do more on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast, where we drop a couple of advertisement-free episodes each month. If you sign up right now, you'll get our entire October, which, like, for instance, October 1st, our Hotline Call Extravaganza with producer Mike and I dropped. And you'll get everything from the months prior to that, too, though, right? Like our special guests from June, July, and August, which I believe was Cypher PK, my grandma, and I can't remember the third, but it doesn't matter. Go find out on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. I have one amend. The population of China remains 1.386 billion. And let's jump into our first segment. Mike, are you ready?
I am ready.
Reviewing Kanye West's gospel album.
So is this really 20 minutes long, this album? Not the segment, but the album.
The segment will be significantly longer than the album,
Okay.
in all likelihood.
All right.
The album is 27 minutes and 4 seconds long.
Mm-hmm.
It is 11 tracks. Here's what I want you to imagine. Here's how we're going to frame this up.
I need you to frame it for me because
I'm going to.
I was so fucking busy this week that I didn't have a chance to listen to this. And honestly, I love Kanye's music, but just like the rest of the world,
You're sick of the shit.
I'm fucking sick of his shit.
We all are,
so
right?
I'm not like first day drop and I'm listening, you know? So
Sure.
sell it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the thing, Mike. Nothing has ever been a more perfect conversation point for this podcast ever.
Okay.
Because it combines the elements of Kanye West, hip hop, religion, Christianity, mental illness. I think that's it. That's a lot. There's no
does he
animals.
mention animals? Yeah.
No pirates, no serial killers, really, no. But those first 5 things, we talk about this shit all the time, and it
Right.
combines them into one thing. And so here's what I want you to imagine. There's a dad out there, okay? This is real. He's 35 years old, middle-class dad out there somewhere with a mortgage, a wife, couple kids. He's been working his way up the corporate ladder for about a decade now. He doesn't keep up with pop culture. He doesn't tweet or gram or snap. He would probably guess that Tekashi 6ix9ine is a Street Fighter-style arcade game. This is a man whose entire life changed back in 2004 when College Dropout hit shelves, Kanye West's debut album, okay?
Right.
Who was wearing pink polos.
My favorite. Yeah.
Throwing up the rock.
Yeah.
Who's been confused, but ultimately not disappointed by Kanye West's last few albums, let's say. This is a dad who hit Spotify this weekend and went, "Oh, cool, new Ye." And then he went, "Oh, Jesus is king? Surely that's a misprint, and it's supposed to say Jesus is king." And then he hit play. And I want you to imagine, if you could, the look on that guy's face 27 minutes and 4 seconds later when he has listened to the entirety of what is not a joke, a gospel album. He really did it. Kanye West made a gospel album.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, I probably doesn't surprise you. He's been holding Sunday service out there for a while, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
He's been doing the Sunday service stuff. He's been doing the promo. He started his career with Jesus Walks. This
Right.
isn't a guy that we
Right.
didn't know was a Christian or that we didn't
Yeah.
know had religious beliefs or that had a relationship with God on some level. But to have one of the most popular and I think at this point inarguably the most controversial artist in the world to drop an entire album dedicated to following Jesus Christ is not something I anticipated in 2019.
Yeah.
I didn't see this coming. And even as it started to get more and more clear that we were really going here, I didn't believe it. I thought it would end up being more trickery, more Kardashian-iness, but it isn't. It's pretty straightforward, and things get really weird after your first listen.
I'm confused because
We all are. We're all very confused.
Well, I'm confused because I go to church. I'm
Mhm.
happy when somebody makes a really banging Christian album.
Sure. Doesn't
Yeah.
happen very often, just for the
Doesn't-
record.
Never.
Mostly
N-
terrible music.
Never happens.
Yeah.
So it's great that Kanye did this, but
See?
what are most
See?
Christians? Most Christians put God before themselves, and it
Right,
seems
right,
like Kanye puts nothing before himself.
Yes, and that's where it's going to get weird. So
Yeah.
save that thought.
Mhm.
Hold all the
Okay.
confusion you're feeling right now.
I'll let you go.
Harness it. Harness it, because that's where this conversation is going. That's what I believe to be the most important thing about the fact that this man dropped this album, and that's what we're going to discuss today. So I dove in, okay, and I guess with my first listen, I got through it. 27 minutes and 4 seconds later, and my face was not one of shock. I was like, all right, dick, I was pissed. I was upset. I was like, motherfucker, this was months of promotion. Months. And I'm listening to it just like, this is a gospel album. It's a Christian gospel album. I have people that I turn to for that type of material when needed. This isn't the guy. Kanye West is not the guy. So first listen through, I fucking hated it, Mike.
Wow.
Hated it. I'd say within 2 hours, I found myself humming along to shit in my head.
Okay.
I had not re-listened to it yet. Beats from the album were entering my brain.
The spirit moved you, touched you.
I guess I was moved by the spirit. And after
Jesus walked on your brain.
Yes. A couple days removed, I'm jamming it on the way to the goddamn studio.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended. And there's a lot of things to unwrap here.
Okay.
So we're going to. Lyrically, it is not good. Okay? Inarguably, lyrically, it is not good. What I would argue, though, is Christianity has always struggled lyrically with music.
I was going to say, does it hit all the tropes? Like
all of them.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a whole lot of creative depth to his lyrics.
Right.
That's the knock I have on the album. Okay? That being said, I think what we're looking at here on a surface level is basically a mentally ill man with an incredible talent for music trying to find a way through life. And it resulted in a gospel album.
Right.
Now, is that a reason for me to be angry? Probably not. So then I started to think about, like, all right, I went back through and I listened to it again. And I went track by track. And really the only biggest it's not the only problem, but it's a very big problem that I have is the Chick-fil-A song, Mike. There's a song that is in essence a Chick-fil-A commercial.
All right.
It's called Closed on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And it begins, closed on Sunday, you're my Chick-fil-A. And that's among the worst lines I've ever heard in any type of music, in any genre, for any reason.
I mean, back in the late 90s, early aughts, Fugees released an album, right? Great album. It was the one with Killing Me Softly.
Okay.
And Lauryn Hill had a line in there where she was something like, I'm the baddest MC, you're defecating on the microphone.
Okay.
I thought that was the worst lyric ever.
Okay.
But this is worse.
It is.
Yeah.
It isn't, the song doesn't improve from there, just for the record. Like, the beat is tight. And look, if you thought Kanye's production wasn't going to be incredible, then you're a moron.
Right.
The subject matter of this album was always going to be the issue, the thing that we needed to worry about. You cannot go find a poorly produced album by Kanye West. That's his strongest suit, I think, inarguably at this point. But, like, I don't know how to process. So I went track by track, and it's like opening on what is it called? Every hour. The takeaway is essentially this: every hour, every second, every minute, you should be praising the Lord. We get one song into an 11-song album, and there's not a peep from Kanye West on it. That was a church choir.
Maybe for the best.
It's a fantastic church choir that they open with, Mike, but it's, look, you can hit any Black Baptist church in the South and have the experience that you have on track 1 of this album. So therefore, 1 track in, we have accomplished almost nothing. That being said, 1 track in, hearing that choir get hype on JC is the most hyped I've been on JC musically, Jesus Christ, since I was a child listening to, like, DC Talk or Newsboys.
Newsboys, yeah.
Or whatever. Rich Mullins is another one that I've listened to. Stephen Curtis Chapman. These are Christian musicians that I listened to as a child.
I go to church every Sunday, and I have no idea really who these people are. Everybody in my church
They're
does.
90s Christian ballers.
Everybody in my church, like, listens to this stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know, man.
Well, look, they have some good songs, but as I mentioned, for the most part, as a guy who's grown up his entire life in the church, from Episcopalian, where I went to school, to Baptist, where I went to church, to I've been to Methodist, I've been to Mass, I've been to every type of version of Christianity. That being said, I've never been to another religious service. I've never been to a Buddhist or Muslim, which is kind of an interesting concept. I would like to. I would like to at some point, but no, Christians, we don't do good music. We don't. We have horrible lyrics. The jam bands at every church in the country, for the most part, are singing the exact same songs.
Yes.
And look, it's not that they don't serve their purpose. They're just not very good songs. They're simple, and they accomplish what they need to accomplish. And that's what it is. That's, for the most part, Christian music. There's Christian radio. There's certainly a market to be had there. which is another thing that's weird to weigh in this whole solution, is like, how much of this is he doing because he genuinely believes that God is the light and Jesus is the way and Christianity is what the world needs? And how much of it is he doing for selfish reasons? For money or for himself or for whatever? And that's the part that becomes impossible to decipher here, even after 8 listens to the album.
Because he's not the kind of artist who is flagging so badly that he has to now tap into the Christian market to make a go of it, like a lot of artists do.
Yes.
That's not where he's at.
Well, no, Mike, and you can see that from the Spotify charts.
Yeah.
There is a song on Spotify right now called Follow God that is #1 in the United States.
That's interesting.
Who else could do that? Nobody.
Mm-mm.
So that it's another layer.
Yeah.
Okay, even if Kanye is sick, which I believe he is, and for the record, I believe I'm sick.
Yeah.
I'm not dancing around the fact that I believe I'm a mentally ill person who struggles with mental illness stuff. I'm medicated. I take medication every day. Some days I have to take more than one medication.
Right.
It's a thing that I struggle with. And I look at that man, and I don't believe that anybody would argue at this point, himself included, that he is not mentally ill.
Right.
He's a mentally ill artist.
But does he know that, and is he getting
No,
treatment?
he has no self-awareness.
Right.
Zero self-awareness.
Yeah.
Wherein lies the biggest problem we still have here. And that's the thing you notice throughout the album. You'll hear lines where you're like, all right, basic Christian message there, pretty on point. No real skewed, strange Kanye version of it. But then you'll hear a part of the album where you're like, okay, this is very confusing. You clearly are muddled in your brain still, sir. I'm not sure how you wrote that line and then thought Jesus would have been cool with it. All that being said, when I put my head on my pillow last night, I'm like, I cannot imagine that if what I believe to be true, because I do believe that God is real and I believe in God and Jesus and all that shit, I have a hard time seeing a world in which God or Jesus, first of all, isn't just laughing hysterically at this entire situation, but could listen to that and then be like, you know what, this guy's a problem. I think overall the takeaways are positive. But there are a lot of really angry people out there.
What are they angry about? Just the fact that this is a Christian album and it's not just a banging Kanye album?
To them,
And if they-
to a lot of people, this is a further continuation of his right-wing
Right.
antics.
Right.
And there's this weird line that's been drawn between right-wing America and Christianity,
Right.
and the fact that we've had like 43 consecutive presidents fake Christianity for the sake of maintaining what I would argue is control over their base.
Right. You don't have to argue it to me. I believe that.
That shit is, well, it's a problem, and it's caused some serious issues. So there's a lot of people who still think that's what he's doing here.
Okay.
And then when you've got the second song in saying, closed on Sunday, you're my Chick-fil-A, and becoming a Chick-fil-A ad, it just gets more and more muddled, and it's easy to...
Yeah.
Plus, then Kanye goes out and he does all these interviews. Thank God it's not with me. I can't imagine. I watched, like, whatever that dude's name is. It's not Billy Zane. Listen to your friend Billy Zane. It's Zane something, though. Zane Lowe.
Okay. Yeah.
Listening to him interview Kanye, I'm like, I don't know how you do it. Because the answers never make any fucking sense.
Right.
Because he's terrible at communicating. He has an incredible line at one point where he says, he's talking about how Kim got so angry with him about all the MAGA stuff. And how she called him saying, we're going to lose everything as a result of what you are doing right now. He says this in a song. And he says, like, you're frustrated with my messaging when I'm thinking like George Jetson, but sounding like George Jefferson. And that's always been his biggest problem. He thinks, and I believe this, I think he has the ability to think way the fuck ahead of me. I think as a dude 10, 15 years ago, he was looking at stuff, and maybe even before that with the Yeezus and the shoes, I think he's been able to see where his career is going and progress artistically in a way that is different from most people.
He's a savant.
He is.
He is a savant, but he's not a smart man. He's a savant. There's a difference.
Fair. Well, and again, I do believe that a big piece of this puzzle is actually that he is sick.
Yeah.
Right? So
I agree.
Then it starts to get, it's like, it's okay, is he an idiot or is he just sick?
Yeah.
And then it's like, is he greedy or does he mean well? And I think the problem there is it's impossible for us to really judge because he's struggling so much with figuring out what it really is that he believes and wants still, and we're all along for the ride like, oh, this is fucking weird. It'd be like, dude, like, all right, Drake, he's been on a good run for what, 10, 15 years? If Drake tomorrow snapped off, started doing crazy shit, and then within 8 years put out a gospel album, we would be like, this is the craziest arc in the history of American pop culture.
Right.
That's actually happening.
That's happening. Yeah.
With this guy, and it's still climbing up to number 1, which is like, wait, what? And I need to know how many of these people are. Yo, I saw a fucking TikTok yesterday of these 2 black kids in a car, right?
Yeah.
And they hit the song. Which one is it? Let me make sure I get the name right really quick.
It's Curiosity. That's why people are listening, right?
Yeah, but they hit like the first or second song on the album, and it's like it has this incredible. I think it's Follow God. Let me check real quick. I can't remember. It has an incredible beat where it just starts popping off, and these 2 kids are in the front seat, just like, oh shit, and the words don't even matter.
Yeah.
It's the music. The music is it's incredible. But then if you listen to the words, you're like, oh, this is incredibly cheesy Christian music.
Right.
But the production is insane, and it's just such a weird situation that I don't even know what the fuck to make of this. It's crazy, man. Like, this is nuts.
I can see it breaking you a little bit.
This isn't something I was prepared to analyze in 2019. Again, I'm just sort of shocked by like how quickly we got to this point. And he has some again, if you listen to this album with like a Red Hot Chili Peppers set of blinders on, meaning the lyrics are completely devoid of meaning and it's just more sounds being added to the music, you know what I mean?
Ding dong dong, ding ding dong dong.
The
ding,
motherfuckers
ding.
in Red Hot Chili Peppers never said a single word.
No.
That made a bit of sense. That being said, I get why people enjoy their music. I'm just not an RHCP fan.
Yeah.
But if you don't actually hear what he's saying and you just listen surface level, this is another good Kanye West album.
All right.
It's well produced. It's well written. It's short as shit. I don't know how he could possibly expect us to like understand why it's so short, but I guess he's super busy. This is the way he's chosen to approach music now. It's like everything else is the focus, the shoes, the clothing, the brand, the building, the Kardashians, and then a couple weeks of the year he'll take time out to focus on making us a little album or whatever the fuck, and then he throws it to us and goes back to his business. Of course, this one obviously the strangest version of that, or the most shocking version of that we've seen. So Mike, he had people working on the album with him. He was requesting that they not engage in premarital sex during the recording of the album, as that goes against Christianity.
Okay.
This is the guy who was rapping,
Okay.
"One day I'm gonna marry a porn star," and most of his
A guy
albums.
who arguably did marry.
And then he married an actual porn star. That is a thing that happened also. And it's like it starts to get fucked up when he starts asking questions like, what have you been hearing from the Christians? They're going to be the first ones to diss me, make it feel like nobody loves me. These are lines from the songs I'm reading.
Yeah.
He called out the whole religion of Christianity, the church, and everybody involved for seeing that they were going to make fun of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
this is a paranoid schizophrenic man.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
But what's important to me is what he's saying say about us.
About us.
And about
our culture.
the church, and about our culture, and about the way things operate within our country. Like,
Right.
I think that's what's important. Too many people are focused on like, oh my God, is Kanye crazy? Like, what? He made a Jesus album. Like, okay, just try to think about what it means though, or like what does that mean for you, right? Because it doesn't do any good for any of us to sit here and get upset about Kanye West. It's his life.
Yeah.
And we're in a weird culture where we believe that we have stock in our celebrities and we own some piece of them. We don't.
He's an artist. He's going to work his personal things out through his art. And
That's what he's doing.
It just so happens that he's one of the most popular artists in the world, and we're all privy to it. So.
But you keep thinking like, all right, this crazy thing will be the thing that makes us all stop paying attention. This crazy thing will be the thing that makes us all stop paying attention. There have been 30 of those moments since Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still here,
Right,
and
right.
he's getting Follow God to #1 on Spotify. So then I start to be like, all right, he has horrible takes on this album.
Okay.
Some of the worst takes I've ever heard. In fact, at one point he says, he's talking about taxes. He says, the IRS want they 50 plus our tithe. Man, that's over half the pie. I felt tried. That's on God. That's why I charge the prices that I charge. I can't be out here dancing with the stars. No, I cannot let my family starve. I go hard. That's on God. And he asked God for wealth in the form of a prayer. I've seen this man's house is a $20 million goddamn mansion. Fucking, it's not even a mansion. It's like a property. You know what I mean?
It's its own zip code.
In what world is your family starving even a remote possibility, sir? Your wife bailed you out of $50 million in debt. You're now making he's making more money this year in music than than Jay-Z, like double. It's something crazy like that. He has quickly ascended because of the Yeezy brand up into
Right.
what will eventually make him the highest paid hip hop artist of all time.
Right.
And I think in front of Drake.
Yeah.
Because Drake is never going to have what Kanye has with the clothes and the shoes. So it's impossible to ignore that he is still one of the most relevant cultural figures today in America. What's weird is where we put him and what to make of that and his music now and the fact that he clearly doesn't get it. But at the same time, I believe he's trying to do some good in the world and he's doing bad as a result, but he's also doing good. And it's just like, where does this land? And what is it? And then that's where I get to like, okay, it's clearly not about him. So what does it mean for me? And the message just doesn't add up all the way for me. Because to like read the Bible and study Jesus and come away thinking that he would approve of the general message of Kanye is tough for me to buy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's trying. And Jesus kicked it with like prostitutes and addicts and trash humans when he was alive. So who am I? What the fuck?
Just because you're a Christian doesn't mean everything's perfect.
No, absolutely
And
not.
We're all sinners. We all screw
Well,
up.
what's an important piece of the puzzle? Like,
Mhm.
so what are we even making fun of at this point?
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Like I'm confused about
Just-
my life as a result of his confusion.
Just enjoy the beats, Ross. Just enjoy the beats.
That's what it comes down to, though. I
Yeah.
really do think it's like, look, nobody else could do this. Nobody else in the world could get a song called Follow God to #1 on the Spotify charts in the United States. Yes, it's confusing. No, I don't think he's got his head screwed on all the way straight, but he's talked about God his entire career. Jesus Walks was his breakout. Every album he's put out has touched on God or his relationship with God or his upbringing or religion and Christianity in some way, shape, or form. He did an entire album called Yeezus. He put out a hit single called I Am a God. And now he's put out an album called Jesus is King that is 11 tracks, 27 minutes and 4 seconds of not anything else but Christian content.
Do you think that he believes he is the reincarnation of Jesus?
I feel like he would have mentioned that
Okay.
on this one.
All right. Maybe he's subtly getting that across.
Well, now he's point blank said close to that at different points throughout his
Sure,
career.
yeah.
But I feel like he's probably backed away from thinking he's Black Jesus at this point and just believes he's like, that he's Kanye. That he is, I believe he probably thinks he is God's most special messenger on the face of the earth.
Okay. Fair enough.
And then I'm like, well, maybe that's okay too. I don't even know. Like, Kanye West still has moments where I can see through the fog and the communication issues and the mental health ailments that he faces, and I catch a glimpse of what he's trying to say or do. And those are the moments that keep me hanging on as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
But they become fewer and farther between.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, I don't know what to say about this album after saying so much. I'm a Christian, so anything that gets more people thinking in line with the same values and beliefs as me, or at least even exploring that, I'm cool
Sure.
with.
Yeah, the spirit can move through things that are even complicated like this and help people and show them the
Absolutely.
light. Sure. Yeah.
But at the same time, I think a skewed and confused message, which I
Yeah.
don't think that Kanye's is. It is
Yeah.
skewed and confused at times. I think that can feel like it's going to be beneficial, but it'll be detrimental in the long term. You know what I mean? I think short term it can be like, oh, God, we got Follow God to the #1 song. Like, we got all these kids making memes and TikToks and tweets and Instagrams about Jesus and Christianity, and like these kids have never been to church, and like look at the conversation we have going. Short term feels good, but I think long term, if you don't actually nail down the correct version of the message and have somebody following it up with, things like the actual Bible and like church and stuff, I don't know, somebody to guide you, an experienced Christian counselor or theologian?
Yeah.
Is that the word?
Theologian.
Theologian?
A commitment to one of the oldest faiths in the world is not a fad,
No.
right?
No, it
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be.
But also, it's felt like in the United States, in the past, arguably 10, 15 years, we went from a country that was built around the message of Christianity and a belief in God to a country that was like, we are sick of this shit. No more. Enough. We're trying to take it off the dollar bill and stuff. We're like, I mean, we've completely separated. Some of this stuff is good stuff, just for the record.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
We've completely separated church from schools, which, again, a country founded on freedom of belief should not be teaching a religion in its public schools, to me.
No, I
That
agree.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I completely understand stuff like that. But it felt like as a country, we've sort of turned our back on this whole notion of God and Christianity and become more liberal and progressive and sort of like open-minded and trying, like everybody should just experience, you know what I mean? Like it's a different time. And this sort of like checks me back into almost like 1995 where I'm like, I got some stuff to think about.
Yeah.
For me too.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, shit, he's succeeding. Because if I'm a smart person and I love music and I know this maybe isn't the best, but I also know that's maybe not the most important thing in the world. Like, if it's just, this is where I get confused. Because it's like, there's good coming from the bad thing.
Yeah. But will the good last? Is it real
Yeah,
good?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, I believe at one point he was one of the greatest artists to ever walk the face of the earth. That he was actively and arguably one of the best to ever do anything. Musically, artistically, painting, fucking sculpting, fucking whatever the other things are, making things from clay. Maybe go lay by the bay, make things out of hay. Clay, what do you say?
Hey.
Anyway, but now I see a dude who's just trying to find his truth. Like trying to see his way through the fame and the fortune and what I can only assume is a disturbingly wide pack of yes men and women, so many layers thick that he could pitch them on like making this Christmas album he's dropping. He's doing a Christmas album now, by the way.
Sure, yeah.
He could pitch the group he's with on dropping a Satanist-based album for Christmas, and I guarantee you they would sign off on that.
Yeah.
And
It's going to make money.
Yeah.
It would make
And that's
money.
why they would sign off on it.
course.
And he's trying to figure out how to make peace with the belief system that his late mother, you got to remember, Kanye's mom was the most important person in the world to him. Very Christian, strong, religious woman.
Yep.
She raised him on a belief system that he then lived in contradiction to for, let's say, 20 years. His forward-facing image, the music he was making, the videos he was making, the things he was saying, all contradicted the fundamentals of what he was raised on. And now so many layers removed from reality with like a healthy dose of mental illness and a total lack of literacy mixed in, here we are. Admittedly does not read. Admittedly. Kids, if you don't read, never admit to not reading. Ever.
Yeah, no.
Don't say out loud, I don't read.
Yeah.
You sound like a dumbass. And
Or-
then nobody wants to hear you.
Or say, I don't read, become the president of the United States and the top-selling musical artist in the world. Don't do that.
What do I have to do to get
Stop reading.
stop reading? That's been it this whole fucking time.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, Mike, I did when I was like 7, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't read a book by choice
But
since
you're a good writer. How does that work?
1993, I think, was the last time I read a book by choice. No,
Where the red fern grows? Is that what you read? Sorry.
I really did read that book.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
book.
that was a good
It's a
book in
kid's
middle
book,
school
yeah.
for sure. No, I read every once in a while. I try to read. I don't have a lot of time. I spend too much time talking into this microphone, but I don't know how that writing. I shouldn't even be able to speak at this point, based on how little time I've put forward into reading and being better at this language. But here we are. I don't know, man. I love Kanye still. I love his music. I want him to be happy, and if this is what he needs, I will support that because it's Kanye fucking West. That being said, I will not be voting for him in 2024.
That's right.
Okay? That's
mean-
on God. Next segment. RBP 226 is also brought to you by Brooklinen. Making your home beautiful is the ultimate form of self-care. You spend 1/3 of your life in your sheets, so don't you want them to be insanely comfortable? When you sleep, you should sleep well on hotel-quality sheets that don't cost an arm and a leg. Brooklinen Sheets was named the winner of the best online bedding category by Good Housekeeping. They received raving reviews from Business Insider, Apartment Therapy, Men's Health. They have over 35,000 five-star reviews, more than any other bedding company. 500,000 happy sleepers and counting. Founded in early 2014 by husband and wife Vicky and Rich Fulop, who wanted to find beautiful home essentials that didn't cost an arm and a leg. And their mission, it's pretty simple. It's just to make you comfortable. They've got luxury sheets, towels, bedding, and more without the luxury markup. Most bedding is marked up as much as like 300%. Brooklinen was the first DTC bedding company, meaning they work directly with manufacturers, directly with customers, no middlemen, just a great product and service. And their sheets that don't just feel great, they look great too. You can mix and match over 20 plus colors and patterns. My Brooklinen sheets are the most comfortable sheets I've ever slept on. Their towels have turned my bathroom into a spa. I couldn't recommend them more for friends, for family, or for treating yourself to the upgrade you deserve. I mean, I take my sleeping situation very, very seriously. Y'all know how seriously I take it. My bed, my bedroom. Would I use sheets that aren't the most comfortable and best in the world? I think you know the answer is shit no. Brooklinen is the best. Brooklinen is the best. And to sweeten the pot even more, Brooklinen.com is giving an exclusive offer just for the RBP gang. Get 10% off and free shipping when you use the promo code RBP at Brooklinen.com. Brooklinen is so confident in their product with all their sheets, comforters, and towels that they come with a lifetime warranty. The only way to get 10% off and free shipping, though, use the promo code RBP at Brooklinen.com. That's BROOKLINEN.com. Promo code RBP. Brooklinen. These are the best sheets ever. Next segment. What does it mean to be Cali sober? I heard a term over the weekend that upset me, Mike.
Was it Cali sober?
Shockingly, yes.
Was that the term?
It was. I buried the lead. No, this got sent to me by about 100 people. I think the day it dropped was Saturday, I want to say. Kept getting DM'd to me, and I was like, all right, I'll click on it. It was an article on The Cut, I think is the name of the publication. The Cut. I could be wrong. Double checking, confirming. Yes, thecut.com. Want to give full credit where it's due. Thecut.com. I don't know anything about this site. Please don't be like a right-wing Nazi propaganda site. And this particular piece was written by a woman named Katie Heine? Don't know.
I like Heine.
Came out 4 days ago. I love Heine. And the term, I'm going to read you a little bit here. The term Cali sober refers to people who don't drink but do smoke weed, though internet definitions vary slightly. Urban Dictionary says it means people who drink and smoke weed but don't do other drugs. There's an essay by journalist Michelle Luke who uses it to refer to her decision to smoke weed and do psychedelics but not drink. And while the term is new to the author of this column, the behavior it describes is not, this is more or less how I operate. I'm not sober, but I rarely drink, and when I do, I usually have a single glass of wine. She says in her early 30s, she discovered that when she's looking to unwind after a stressful week or she's having a movie night with friends, she would much rather smoke weed than drink a few beers. And as a result, she hasn't been hungover in years. She sleeps better. Her anxiety, for which she also takes daily Prozac and goes to therapy, is more manageable. But she also feels guilty about smoking because she grew up believing that all drugs are bad and that taking them makes you a worse person. Alcohol, of course, is also a drug, but everyone does that, so it's fine. And this is another incredible, just another thing that I discuss every day and that I battle with every day and that I talk about every day. Now, the fact that California or anybody from there is attempting to label it Cali sober is just not going to fly.
No.
No. You're giving a negative connotation to a positive thing, motherfucker.
That's true. Yeah.
Can we not put a state on it? Do we have to label it and mess it up? Can't we just leave it the fuck alone? There's a reason, Mike, that I haven't tried to label it myself. This is the life I live. Right. I don't drink.
Right.
I'm over 2 years without a drop of alcohol. I smoke weed routinely, and I don't do anything else. I don't fuck with any other drugs, and that's not really because I don't believe you should, so much as that I just don't have a desire to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm 32 years old. I don't need party drugs anymore. I need the maintenance drugs. That's it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so weed serves as my thing that gets me to unwind. And I've spoken, if you're new to our show, countless hours about my feelings on using substances both to help yourself with mental clarity, to help yourself with stress, but also the line that you have to walk in terms of abuse, substance abuse, addiction. And the fact that I genuinely believe, and this is a thing that I don't think is that hard to get through your thick skull. Not every substance works for everybody, right? there are people who can't take certain allergy medications because their body doesn't respond well to those. So they have to go with another medication or another option that most people don't have to do. Well, alcohol as a substance obviously doesn't work for everyone. It's not a blanket unwind and decompress substance that everybody has to use the same one and we all go to the same things in bars and we all do. But in America, that's what it became. It became our blanket substance. You were raised in this country for like the last 100 years, most people were, to believe that you go to work, you work hard, you get off work, you crack a beer, and you fucking have a few, and then maybe you accidentally hit your wife and you go to jail, and then things spiral from there, and then you're on probation for 2.5 years. But the American dream has always carried like alcohol with it. Like Homer Simpson, like the family dad, the man of the house, a stern beer drinking American or whatever. Like that shit's all been tied into our culture since time immemorial in America. And now, I don't know if time immemorial makes sense as a statement there. I just like saying that because Tony Soprano said it one time.
Right.
And I was like, fuck, that sounds cool. And I Googled it and I was like, all right, I can mix this in.
Why not?
It basically means like since like written history started.
Okay.
But that's just doesn't really make sense of what I was saying. But anyway.
No, time in memoriam, yeah.
Yeah. No, so this is, it's like, it's getting talked about more now. That people have options. That maybe some of us can smoke weed and not drink, and that's okay.
That's fine.
I didn't know we had to have the conversation so many times to decide that, but it sounds like we're finally coming around on it as a society.
Right.
Maybe that's okay that this motherfucker doesn't drink and he smokes. Maybe that's okay.
Yeah, it's not all or nothing, and I don't think it's ever been all or nothing.
But it weirdly is for so many people, and it's like,
yeah,
I just have as a guy who had to take that step back and remove alcohol from his life to gain some perspective, I can tell you all we are so silly about this. It is a very weird situation, and the way we handle alcohol versus other substances, alcohol is fine. Anything else though, we freak out, man.
Right.
We fucking lose our shit. Nicotine, oh my fucking, like somebody died from vaping, holy shit.
Ugh.
But with booze, think about all the DWIs, the alcohol poisoning, the fucking liver cirrhosis, we don't give a shit. Nobody's out fighting to make alcohol illegal because
why do you think that is?
the lobbyists won that battle in like 1948. It's been done.
Right.
Like there's no removing that.
Right.
That being said, I'd like to add as many other things to the fucking to pick from the. You know what I mean? If we're all walking up to the table and there's one thing and it's alcohol, and then that doesn't work for me, well, I'm fucked. So I gotta go find my thing, which took me an additional several years.
Right.
Like if I had known a long time ago, hey man, you don't have to drink. Maybe weed is the thing for you. Then I would have been much better off. But that never happened until it was far too late. Anyway, Cali sober as a term is just nauseating. So let's not. But also, I'm stoked to keep it Cali on everybody like being more open-minded and starting to look at like, well, wait a minute, maybe this shit's fine. Maybe we can do the weed thing, even though I'm in a state where it's still illegal.
It's ridiculous.
At least we're taking steps. Next segment, World Series update.
Yeah.
What time do I have to be out of here? 30 minutes. All right, we got this. Yeah. 3 in a row in Washington is pretty cool, man. Winning 3 in a row on the world. I was not scared being down 0-2 for a reason, and I tried to reason with my people on Twitter, and like y'all are freaking out for nothing. Baseball is not basketball. It's not football. With football, there's no series. It's just one game. Basketball is the one that I think people see 0-2 and they think, oh, shit, you're done. And that's not the case in baseball, and it's certainly not the case. And I understand that in the World Series, you should be probably freaking out if you're down 0-2 under normal circumstances, but the Astros don't have normal circumstances. It's the best lineup in the history of Houston sports to me. It's one of the best lineups in the history of baseball, to me. It's one of the best teams ever fielded in the major leagues. It is a roster that from top to back is terrifying. That has 3 aces and not inarguably, I've said that 400 times during the show though, arguably a 4th. The bullpen's phenomenal. I just wasn't that scared. And then when we won game 3, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Then when we won game 4, I was like, this is over. The series is over. When we won game 5 last night, I just started laughing. And I felt bad for you people There was so many Nationals fans up in my mentions on Twitter talking that shit when we were down 0-2, telling me we suck, bringing up the fucking stupid dickhead in our clubhouse that made the Osuna comments. And don't come at my franchise, man. This was never going to be a one that we walked away like. People thought this was going to be like 2005, like the White Sox series where we got swept and it was the most disappointing thing in the world. I don't know how people thought that. I don't know how you could have looked at this lineup and thought, oh shit, we're screwed. It's too stacked. There's too much talent. And in baseball, in a 7-game series, talent almost always wins out. Almost always. The math just works differently. It's not like where you can have one dude step up and beat a better team than you. That can happen in basketball all the time. Klay Thompson can have a 45-point quarter out of nowhere. That's not a thing in baseball, typically. You're not going to have one player that turns the tide of an entire team. Like, that's why Soto, scary as hell. To me, the scariest guy on the Nationals. But he's one guy. He does the shuffle. You throw at his head. Maybe he hits a dinger. Maybe it's a solo shot, though. If you can keep that one dude in check, I'm not scared of that team. I'm just not looking down the roster freaked out. I'm looking down the Astros roster freaked out. And from a non-biased perspective, like as a guy that knows a lot about sports, if I remove myself from the Houston fan, perspective and look at that roster, I'm freaked out. And y'all should be freaked out because it's over. There's no winning this now for y'all.
No.
This shit is ours. And it was always going to be that way. Like, you don't have anything to be upset about. Y'all had an incredible season. We had Aaron Barrett on as a guest recently. I'm a huge fan of the Nationals. I think they're a very likable franchise with y'all's fan base gets made fun of a lot for being like fair weather or whatever, and I think that's just as a result of you've had some tough luck as a franchise, but you get rid of Bryce Harper. You have the best postseason since I don't remember what year, but it's y'all's first good one in a really long time. It's a shame that you couldn't get a World Series win in your home building, but we haven't either. And I'll give you it's still anybody's series. It's not. It's ours, but it's still anybody's series. It's not. It's over. By the way, I get to go to Game 7 if it's necessary. It won't be. It's done. But I'm just saying I will be there to watch y'all go down if I need to go. But y'all should probably just flop this thing tomorrow. Unless you want me to be there and talk 3 or 4 times as much shit. Because I already told you. I said it on Twitter. When we were down 0-2, and I put $500 on the Astros to win the series down 0-2 at that point, and I said, I was laughing my ass off. I am going to come for every single one of you when we turn this around and win the series. And I meant that. When we win this series, I am never going to shut the fuck up. If you are a Nationals fan or you don't like me talking about the Astros or the greatness of that franchise, you should be praying with Kanye West actively that we lose this series. Because I am never going to shut the fuck up. By the way, we gave an update on Mattress Mac. You've seen the stories about Mattress Mac, right?
Right.
This mattress salesman in Houston who's bet the millions of dollars on the World
for
Series.
sure. This
Dude, so down 0-2, it started to look like, oh shit. The whole thing is a hedge, by the way. If you're unfamiliar with the story, he does this every year. He does these promotions if a Houston team makes the playoffs. Like, if the Astros win the World Series, you get all the furniture you buy today free. So then, 1 million people come in and buy furniture, and then they hope that the Astros will win the World Series so that they don't have to pay for the furniture. Yeah. If the Astros lose the World Series, they have to pay for the furniture. And then Mattress Mac goes, and he hedges that bet. So, I think he sold something I want to say it was $20 million in furniture. So then he goes and hedges it in Vegas. Now he has over $10 million on the Astros to win the World Series. He went out there on Friday to throw another $1.5 million on us. I mean, he's going out there with fucking bags of cash.
We need a Netflix documentary on this guy.
The fact that there isn't one already is kind of crazy. He was a huge part of the Hurricane Harvey recovery movement. Right. Mattress Mac.
Right. Yeah.
I always forget his last name. I want to say McInvale. Jim McInvale. This guy has been a local Houston celebrity since I was a boy. And now I can't tell if is he sick or something. He's real skinny. He looks skinny as fuck. I can't. I'm sure some people ask the same thing about me. Is he fucking sick or something? He looks real skinny compared to how he's maybe just lost weight and he's healthy. Who the fuck knows? But I can't believe this dude is living right now probably my ultimate dream. He's flying back and forth in a private plane to Las Vegas to put hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars down on a team that that I love. That's the dream for me. I want to fly private out to Vegas. I want to go up to the counter with a fucking bag. I want to open the bag and put the stacks out, the banded like $10,000 stacks out one by one by one by one by one. I want to put, and they want to go, and they're going to say Astros to win the series, and I'm going to say yes, and then I get back on my plane and fly back the fuck to Austin or Houston or wherever.
And then you win more money.
And then it somehow pans out for you. This shit's wild. So he has like a $300,000 bet on us at plus 210, which would net him $500,000. Or I'm sorry, $630,000. He had a $500,000 bet on Game 3, which netted him $357,000. And he's playing with house money because it's all a bullshit hedge against his mattress fucking promotion. It's unbelievable what this man has been able to accomplish. Friday, he placed a $300,000 bet to win $630,000, $100,000 to win $210,000, a $400,000 bet to win $840,000. Then just the staggering numbers. I bet like $100 and shit my pants on the couch for 4.5 hours while the game is on. Mattress Mac is throwing down stacks, and that's like that's one of the things that always comes back to like the numbers are always relative. Whether you bet $10 on a game or I bet 100, and that's how I get my rocks off, or Mattress Mac has to fly out to Vegas and put down $10 million or whatever, like
put his whole company and reputation on the line.
It's all relative. It's everybody values these numbers in a different form, and they're all based on your life. $1,000 could be a lot. For a lot of people I know, $1,000 is like what's like $100 to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I know where $100 is like what $1,000 is to me. And that sort of shift and constantly keeping your eye on like how much money, how much value am I putting in money and all that. I like that. I like to play with that. I think that's a cool element of life. I always love that quote from Blow. The dad says, he's like, money isn't real, George. It only seems like it is. Well, it isn't. It isn't real. We invented it.
Right.
It's literally fake.
It's a human construct.
Yeah. So, no, it isn't. It really isn't real. And I really do believe it might not matter at all. I just don't think it's near impossible to live in a way that reflects that in our day and age.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
Got real deep there right before this. This episode of RBP is also brought to you by Public Rec, where indoor comfort meets outdoor style. Think about your favorite pair of old sweats or joggers or whatever. You love how comfortable they are to lounge in, but how often can you really wear them out, like in public, out of the house, without looking like a trash human, right? Now there's a pair of pants that can do both. It's called the All-Day Everyday Pant from Public Rec. Y'all have heard me speak about it for weeks, maybe even months now. It's your go-to for style, comfort, and versatility. The All-Day Everyday Pants. They close the gap between a stylish pair and a comfortable wear. Public Rec is reinventing the classic sweatpants design, starting from scratch where it matters most. Custom-made performance fabric, a tailored fit, indoor comfort meets outdoor style, the perfect pair for guys on the go. These are the first sweats that have a waist and inseam sizing. So whether you're short or tall or somewhere in between, they fit perfectly. Like, this can be a major problem if you're a guy who's tried to go shopping for good sweats, good joggers, good pants. It's very difficult to find a good pair of sweats or joggers that are tailored perfectly for, like, I'm 6'2". I'm super lucky in that my legs are long as shit and then I'm skinny, so that when I put on a pair of pants, typically they fit well. For, like, my good friend Barrett, for example, significantly shorter than me, he cannot buy joggers or pants that are comfy without having to then go get them tailored so that they don't look like trash. Public Rec is eliminating that for you. They've got the waist and the inseam sizing. It doesn't matter what fucking shape you are. They've got pants that are going to make you look baller. And the design details, like the elastic waistband with the internal drawstring, the 2 deep front zipper pockets so your phone's not just falling out constantly. If you're making clothes in 2019 that my phone falls out of my pocket easily, I want to fight you. Too many of the shorts and shit I put on, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It was I'm not going to name the competitor during the read. There's a pair of shorts that I put on the other day that my phone fell out of my pocket again, and I just got infuriated by that. So, again, not a problem with Public Rec. If you know anything about me, you know how seriously I take my pants. I'm constantly getting messages from y'all. Where are these pants from? Where are these pants from? Where are these pants from? Look at the fucking pants I've got on. If you're watching the stream, look at these pants. Do I look like a dude who would lie to you about pants? These are pants that very few people can pull off. And Public Rec is awesome. The way that they have towed the line between casual wear and more stylish clothing, that is literally the vibe I go for every single day of my entire life. And they call it the all-day everyday pant for a reason. It's perfect for any dress code that I throw at them. Let's fucking go. Head to publicrec.com/RBP today. Get 10% off your first pair of all-day everyday pants automatically applied at checkout. And always, with free U.S. shipping and free returns. Don't sleep on this opportunity to get a discount. That's Public Rec, PUBLICREC. Rec is spelled rec.com/RBP for 10% off. Mike, quickly before we get out of here, last segment, Scarface for City Council.
And RBP, a friend of the show.
He is a friend of the show.
Yeah.
What episode was he on? The Ross Bolen Podcast, Scarface.
He was on the Scarface interview episode.
It was called Going Low with Brad Jordan. 223. RBP 223. We featured Brad Jordan, a.k.a. Scarface, one of the most respected, notorious as a...
I'd say notorious, yeah.
Notorious and storied hip-hop artists in the history of the country.
Influential.
Certainly in the South.
Yeah.
For real, though. Like,
Yeah.
this is like he's one of Jay-Z's
Yeah.
favorite rappers. That
Right.
makes him one of the most influential musicians in
Extremely.
the country. Yeah. So we had him on the show. Brad is a super interesting dude. He's like not at all what you would expect.
He's a golfer.
He plays golf, what do you say, it was like 9 times a week or something like that.
He's there every day.
He was literally driving to the course during our interview. He put me on speaker with the clubhouse when he was signing in for his tee time, and he asked him something like, "How often do I play golf?" And they all
Right.
started laughing or some shit.
You're like, you live here.
Yeah. It's just not what you would expect from Scarface if you've ever listened to his music, and I have a lot. Well, on top of that, he decided to run for city council in Houston, and so we got to talk to him a little bit about that and why. And this is going on right now. If you're in Houston, I believe voting is going on literally as I am speaking the last several days. Maybe the voting is, I don't know. I don't live in Houston anymore, so I'm not the most up and educated on how exactly the when that ends. But the idea for him and this there's a column in the Houston Chronicle over the past weekend that's called "Brad Jordan Puts His Ghetto Boys Past Behind Him to Run for City Council." Ghetto Boys, obviously the famous rap group that he was the center of, by Andrew Dansby, this column. And it talks all about sort of his reasoning, which he touched on with us. Like because I asked him, like, why you want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because you figured, like, all right, Scarface is running for blank. Like, I'm going to guess that it's either Congress or, like, maybe president, and that would be a very silly run, but
Right.
something like that.
But this local regional thing is real. You know?
It's because he's not full
Yeah.
of shit.
Right,
He actually,
exactly.
the only reason he wants to do this is because he drives around his neighborhood
Mhm.
and he sees the issues that they have, and he wants to help fix them.
Right.
That's the actual reason people are supposed to get into politics. It
Mhm.
doesn't happen very often
Right.
anymore, but it's just kind of cool and refreshing to, like, I don't think he gives a fuck about the bullshit of it.
No.
In fact, he might not give a fuck enough. Like, it's like he's not playing the game enough almost.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he's like an organic activist who saw shit around him he didn't like, was like, well, I need to change this.
and that's
And
sort of it.
Very refreshing perspective from a politician.
Yeah.
Or a budding politician.
I also just need to see what that world looks like where, like, Face gets into politics and then can, like, work his way up. Like, it starts at the
Yeah.
city council, but it's like, I mean, I imagine he would have a great deal of success getting things done.
Right.
And then it's like, all right, where do we go from here? I'm just curious. Like, I would like to see a political career out of this dude because he's not, people like Trump because he was like the straight shooter who was going to go in and change up Washington or whatever the fuck. No, you should listen to Face talk about politics. It's hilarious. I think he might kill someone at some point if they do. Like, he is not fucking around about the stuff he wants to change. What did he say to us? He was like, if you harm an elderly person, I can't remember if he said you should be killed or locked up for life. But I was like, word? That actually makes sense. If
I
you
think
fuck
people
with
in
an elderly
Houston can get behind that.
Yeah, I think he said if you steal a blade of grass from an elderly person that you should be murdered or something. Like, and I was like, yeah. Actually, yeah. I'd be cool with that being a rule. Like, if
Respect your elders.
you fuck with old people,
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah.
you can't be trusted.
Yeah.
You'll fuck with anybody if you'll fuck with an old person. So I kind of get that. Like,
As I age, that becomes more important to me.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. I'm more and more invested in, like, how old people are treated every day. I'm like, fuck. I've got 40 years left till I'm going to need a lot of help.
Yes.
Hope Face is around to fight for me. This whole thing is just fascinating. It's cool that we have another rap artist trying to make his way into politics.
But what a duality. Kanye doing things for himself, Face apparently doing things for the people in his neighborhood, in his city,
And that's
and his family.
and it's part of what I believe is a step. I've talked to my mom about this a great deal. Like, what do I think we have to do to fix some of the shit we have going at the national level? And for me, the answer is, well, it starts in individual people. It starts in individuals. Like, I have to start within myself, and then I have to start with my family, and then my neighborhood, and then my community, and then my city, and then my state, and then the country. So, like, if you don't start building from a neighborhood level, like Face is trying to do here,
Right.
you never gain any momentum.
You clean your own latrine. That's what.
Yes.
Not Hunter Thompson, but Kurt Vonnegut used to say. If you want to
Nice.
change the world, you clean your own latrine. Take
I mean,
care of
that's
your
where
own
it
shit
starts.
first.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's absolutely where it starts. So, like, it is a cool parallel. Kanye West running for president, seemingly for all of the wrong reasons, even if maybe they are the right ones deep down. Look, Kanye's not going to win a presidential run. He's not
I
going to
don't
make
know.
it. He has no chance.
Okay.
No, absolutely no chance in hell. He can't talk. He's never formed a coherent
Neither
thought on
can the
stage.
current president.
Yeah, but he speaks in like tiny sentences that get people fired up. Kanye speaks in tiny sentences that make you go, "What?
What? Yeah.
The fuck did he just say?" Chick-fil-A. Like, I can't believe he put that line in. I saw a tweet from a black dude on Twitter this weekend who was like, "This is the guy who had me wearing pink polos in 2005, and now he's a washed Republican." And they put up a picture of him from this past weekend. Kanye was wearing an all designer denim. Like, he's kind of thick right now too. so it's like-
Yeah.
There's just something hilariously unfit about that man. Like, you can just look at Kanye and you're like, the dude's struggling. He's not having a great time right now, I don't think. And
Too
I
much
feel that.
Chick-fil-A.
He needs to stay the fuck out of there for 6 months at a minimum.
Yeah.
Too many nuggets. If he owns even one chain, even one, if they gave him even $1 for that song, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with Chick-fil-A. If they paid him for that, I'm done. If it was
Right.
free, if it's organic, I'm cool. I'll go straight from here and get another spicy chicken
Do you
sandwich.
think he got some money for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
Really?
think the Kardashian, what's her name, the main one?
Yeah.
The mom?
I
Whatever.
don't
The head bitch Kardashian. You think
Maleficent?
you think she would allow her daughter's husband, one of the most popular rappers in the world, to put out a song that focuses on Chick-fil-A without getting money out of it? Like, I just can't see. That woman is like a
yeah.
marketing,
Right.
maybe the greatest marketer in the history of marketing.
Right. Yeah.
She literally marketed her own daughter by having her do a sex tape, which is like, I don't know what to make of those people. My mom, speaking of my
genius.
mom, I was talking to
Yeah.
my mom yesterday, the other day. There's always been a weird element to the Kardashians where they are Christians.
Right.
And they have some sort of like message about their belief in God. It's not a huge part of their brand.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly makeup and blowjobs and butt lifts and stuff at that level.
Yeah.
But deep down further, you'll find a little. It's like a footnote in the Kardashian
Right.
brand.
Right.
We are Christians.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like,
Yeah.
what?
What brand of Christian? Prosperity gospel, maybe?
It's a whole
I
new
don't know.
thing
Yeah.
that didn't exist before. The Kanye one especially. Can't let your family starve, though, Mike. He can't.
He can't let them starve on the 20-acre mansion that they live on.
Later in the
With
album, he's
countless
talking about like his
servants.
fucking farm in Wyoming that he bought.
I like how we're going back to this album.
I can't. I'm still so. I could have done like a 6-hour podcast with you today about just the Kanye album. I'm not joking.
I mean, I'm down. I'll probably take a nap for part of it, but if you want to go, let's go.
we got other shit to do,
All
though.
right.
You know, it's like both of us.
Yeah.
For both our sakes. Let's get the fuck out of here. Anyway, go vote for Face if you're in Houston. Vote for Scarface. Brad Jordan. On the ballot, it actually says Brad, parentheses, Brad, quotation mark, Scarface, in quotation mark,
Right.
Jordan. How do you lose?
I'm going to hit the go low, baby.
There is no, do it.
Go low, baby.
There it is.
Feels good. There is absolutely no way he loses that race, right? How do you walk into a voting booth in Houston, Texas, and look at two options? I'm assuming there's two.
Mhm.
This guy and another guy. And one of the options is Brad Scarface Jordan. I'm
There's
like,
going to be
yeah,
so
I'm
many
serious.
selfies inside the,
Yo!
like illegal selfies
Yeah.
inside the polling place. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm serious, though. I don't know how you punch the other name
Yeah.
on that ballot.
You
Like,
don't.
And
You
then
don't.
Because you know what happens if you do? You pull the curtain back and you step out of the booth. You know who's standing there? Face.
Yeah.
And he's upset. He's wearing a Callaway
Or
golf
one of his
polo,
boys.
and he's
Yeah.
got a 9-iron in his
Yeah.
hand, and he wants to know why you pressed the wrong fucking button. Holy shit. Thank y'all for tuning in today. This was a lot of fun. Today's show was, again, I don't know if we'll ever have like topics more in line with the things that I'm interested in debating and discussing in my life right now than we did today, and the things that politics and religion and mental health and all this stuff that gets combined into the Kanye West conversation and then the Scarface conversation as well. If you want more RBP, again, there's only one place to get it. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. Every month, you'll get a couple additional episodes ad-free, a hotline call extravaganza, a special guest episode. Special guest for October is going to shock some of you. Some of you in a bad way, but some of you in a good way.
Can we get a
Can I
hint?
just say who it is? It's
Yes.
Jared's mom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Jared's mom, who I've met only in passing, is going to come on the show tonight, and I'm going to try to figure out how a human being like Jared comes to be. And this woman is responsible for that. So she's going to explain it to us, and we're going to talk about a lot of their family is very, very funny. Jared Borslow, one of my co-hosts here on RBP, one of my guy I've worked with for almost my entire career. 7 years I've known Jared, I think. Maybe 8. And we've worked together, and he's a great dude. He actually works at one of our sponsors now as his like 9 to 5, which is just hilarious. And Jared's mom's going to come on and be our guest for October. We've had my mom on before. We've had my grandma on before. It's time to have Jared's mom, and I'll give you like a tidbit about their family. They go to Las Vegas a lot as a group, which is a fascinating thing to me because I've been to Las Vegas one time as a group, and it was a bachelor party, not a family vacation like Thanksgiving.
Right.
And I was horrified by what I saw.
Oh, yeah.
So I need to know how a family handles Vegas annually and sometimes biannually in the case of the Borslows. And they go up there, right? And they stay, I'm not going to give y'all too much, but they stay in not the best casinos, and then they just fucking like ball. Like, you've seen Vegas Vacation, right?
Right. Yeah.
You've seen the one where they go to Vegas?
Yeah, it's classic.
Yeah. And he goes
Kind
into
of.
like the shitty casinos after he starts blowing his money at the bigger ones, and he's
Sure.
playing games like Guess Who.
They
and
go to those?
fucking fish and shit. That's where Jared's family makes their nut.
Okay.
They go clean up in Las Vegas in the carny casinos, like the ones for the elderly and the and what's the word I'm looking? Infirmed? Is that a word?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fuck it. Anyway, Jared's mom will be on tonight. That'll be fun as shit. Coming in November, we will have even more exciting stuff for y'all. And then, as I mentioned, really the most important thing about Patreon at this point is that up front, at the beginning, right now, it's going to be the only place you can watch the full video of this episode if you did not tune in and catch it on twitch.com/BossRoland today. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast will be the only place you can watch that video right now. And you get our entire backlog of content for October, for August, for July, for June, etc., etc. Yeah, so go. Also, having listened to this entire show today, having been here for our entire podcast episode today, you may not realize it, but you've been saddled unknowingly with 2 legal obligations. The first of which is that you must rate and review this show. I don't care if you listen on Spotify, that's awesome. If you listen on SoundCloud, fuck yeah. But I need you to rate and review specifically on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars, write 2 or 3 sentences about why you like the show. If you have never done this, if you've been listening for 40 episodes or 200 episodes or you just got here today, I don't care. Either way, if you've never done it, do it now. The other thing I need you to do, the other legal obligation you have, is to tell one person, one family member, a coworker, a neighbor, any one individual you believe would enjoy RBP, share the show with them today. Maybe it's the Kanye West fan in your life. Maybe it's the most religious person you know. Maybe it's the most atheist person, or what's the other word I'm looking for when you don't believe in...
Agnostic.
Maybe it's the most agnostic person you know. Whatever your reason, share the show with one person this week. You're obligated to. And then one person next week. And then one person every week, one person until the week you die. Those are your 2 legal obligations. They're pretty straightforward. You commit them. I check the boxes. I call off the lawyers, call off the dogs. We don't have to see each other in court, and we all live long and prosper. Follow the show on Instagram at the Ross Bolen Podcast. We are on Twitter at Ross Bolen Pod. We're also on Facebook if you're the middle-aged aunt of one of our listeners. And then, of course, as I mentioned, if you want to watch live when we broadcast like today, twitch.com/BOSSROLEN, twitch.com/BossRoland, and then that video will be available on Patreon after the fact. You can follow me, Ross Bolen, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Same name on all three, at WR Bolen. Listen, a lot of people hitting me up on, there's like 8 different launchers on PC now for all the different video games that you need. I'm either WR Bolen or Boss Rollin on everything. Okay, so if you can't find one of those names, I'm not on that platform. WRBOLEN, or in some rare cases on video game stuff, when it made me, I went with Boss Rollin as my sign-in name, or vice versa on the video game stuff. It's usually Boss Rollin. Some of them made me go with WR Bolen. The point is, if you're looking on a platform and you're like, I wonder if Ross is here, type in one of those names, and then you should be able to tell based on the account, right? Like, I feel like you can tell when shit is real, when it's me, and when it's not. Anyway, Mike, where can we follow you? And as well as please do share with us some information about how things are going with Who Pods the Watchmen so far, now that we are 2 episodes deep.
We're
into
2
the
episodes
season.
deep on HBO's Watchmen. We have 2 brand new episodes of Who Pods the Watchmen out. WhoPodsTheWatchmen.com. Check it out. I'm producing, but I do pop on that show.
Hell yeah.
And you can find me at Mike Moody on Twitter.
Did you enjoy episode 2?
Yes.
Keeping in mind that I have not finished it.
Okay.
And you must not
Yeah.
spoil it for me.
It was good. It was a good follow-up to the premiere. It wasn't as compelling as that premiere was. I was just locked in for that
Okay.
premiere. But episode 2 is good, and it's a little confusing.
Okay.
But it's still really compelling.
I would say if you feel confused, and my rule is always 3.
Mm-hmm.
3 episodes in on HBO is where they get you usually. Most shows, but
Yeah.
HBO in particular, like you have to give it 3. If you watch 1 and you're like, I don't fucking know. 2, you're like, 3 is usually
Yeah.
the one where they're like, and this is why we got
Well,
you.
what I mean is that it's probably confusing for the general audience who hasn't read Watchmen recently, like
Yeah.
I have, because I'm so happy that I read the source
Dude,
material
y'all's knowledge base
before
for it
diving in.
is
But
helpful.
I'm just like, the person who hasn't read this shit has no idea what the fuck is
There
happening.
is a lot.
Yeah.
Like even when Mike was producing on Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, where Barrett and I discussed the series premiere of Watchmen last week, and Mike sort of was chiming in, helping us to understand some of the elements of the show and some of the stuff from the graphic novel lore versus like shit that Lindelof has just decided to whatever the fuck.
Right.
It was super helpful to even just to get the general frame on the series, right?
Right.
So if you're watching Watchmen on HBO and you're going, what the fuck? Which I think is a lot of you at this point, Who Pods the Watchmen is going to be extremely helpful. Also for more general TV and movie. Like we're not going to go into the depth that Mike and the boys and Grant and the boys are on Who Pods the Watchmen, but we're going to discuss the show in a more like, what's the level? What's surface level? Is that? Not surface level. We go deeper than
No,
that.
you go
but
deeper than that. yeah.
higher level.
Right.
In both sound and body and mind. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. That will do it for RBP 235, recorded and produced by Mike Moody and Grant Davis at Permanent Record Studios in Austin, Texas. We will be back, I believe, Thursday.
Okay.
Wednesday?
Okay.
Do we record Wednesday?
I think we are
I
recording.
need to be
Wednesday.
right about
Yeah.
this because
Are we not streaming
because
tonight?
if we're live,
Mhm.
no, we are not streaming tonight because
Okay.
Jared's mom has never done a podcast
Right.
before.
Right.
And
forgot
and
about
she
that.
requested we can film it.
Okay.
We just can't do it live.
Right.
Because if she throws up all over me and Jared, she doesn't want it to happen on the internet where you can never erase it forever.
But everybody else would love to see that.
It would make us a lot of money. It would
Yeah.
probably be the best moment in the history of the show. But
We'll
yeah,
film
no.
it just in case.
So I believe it is Wednesday that we will be back, and I am checking right now. Wednesday at 1:30, we'll be recording RBP 236. So if you want to tune in on twitch.com/bossrollin and watch it live, that would be the time. 1:30 on Wednesday. Mike and I will be. Mike, will you be here with me, or will somebody else
I'll be here. Yeah.
Mike will be here with me. That is nice. That is good. That is always what I want to hear. And then, as you mentioned, we're recording with Jared's mom tonight. That'll be out on Patreon later. And that's it. I'm going to go prepare for that. Come up with some interview questions for J-Bone's mother. Podman gets paid, strength and honor. Gang, gang, gang. Peace be with you. And also with you.
Peace be with you, and also with you.
Ross Bolen Podcast.
Go low, baby.